Hello and welcome, or welcome back. Today, I'm going to share with you the final decorations to my glittering dunes. It is basically part 2 of this here Agrabah build that I showed you just prior to this video posting. So that's the little palace over there. I say little palace, it's large, it's quite massive. Without further ado, let's begin. I wanted to start in this area because I wanted you guys to see how I decided to connect everything and to kind of give you an idea of where we are based off of the stairs of this landmark right here in front of us. Those stairs there, they lead up to that other separate area, which I think that I might be redesigning that area to match this aesthetic that I have here. And with this design, I decided to go with an Agrabah Botanical Gardens aesthetic. I hope that you guys enjoy this video and that you very much love how I included all of these bright pinks and the limey greens and the nice deep earthy green as well. I'm just going to show you everything, and I'm going to try to go nice and slow, not too fast, not too slow, of course. Everybody likes to watch at their own different pace. And whenever I was designing this, I knew that this was going to be an area that you would want to view. I didn't put a large tree in between this area that's in front of the fountain because I wanted you to be able to look at the fountain if you were walking around this area. Not that anyone else can walk around this area but myself, because it is in Eternity Isle, and currently we cannot visit each other's Eternity Isles. Maybe in the future Gameloft will change that. And then the piece de resistance, the palace. You have it here, and I built this palace. At the end of the video, I will zoom out and show you all the different pieces that I use. I included these water fountains as well in this area because I wanted the two areas to connect to one another with their design. And so I wanted to incorporate different items in both of the areas. Under here in my little palace area, I'll just show you really quickly. I put in these gazebos because I really like the way that they look whenever they peek over the walls, because typically in stone buildings, you're going to see glass ceilings as well as wood ceilings, but I don't really have a wood ceiling that I thought was appropriate, so I thought that the glass dome ceiling looked nice. And then I just put a quick little crafting station in here because I needed it. And then over in this other area, I used to have a cooking station, but I didn't really need it because I already had one in my Agrabah Palace that I built for Jasmine and Aladdin. And you can sneak through over here and get to this little mining node. I know that it matters to some people that the mining nodes are accessible, so I did design that area where that one is, but my other mining node is not accessible because I didn't need to get to it, and I didn't mind that I couldn't get to it. There's my really super cool view again. Look how cool, everybody. Let us leave this palace that I built. And then of course, it took me weeks to get enough resources to make this fencing, and oh my gosh, how frustrating, but I finally managed to do it. So there you see this area over here, as well as the area on the right hand side, are symmetrical to one another, and you do have the nice view. I don't know why it's not more sunny in my game right now. It's kind of weird. It might be a little bit foggy, but it'll probably start raining soon, so I decided I'm just going to film this now even though the weather conditions aren't perfect, and then hopefully in the future there is a toggle from Gameloft, or whenever we want to film we can control the weather. They did the toggle for the photo mode, though hopefully that is coming soon. And then over in this area, I ripped this area down a couple of times. This is what I ended up with, and I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think I'm gonna rip it down again. I am pleased that I somehow managed to get the camels in here. I got some more Agrabah Palace walls in here, and then of course I got this amazing item from Eternity Isle. It's a craftable over here as well, and I really wanted to showcase this item because I thought it was so appropriate for this area, and I typically use fountains for the movement of them in my centerpieces in front of the palaces. Because of that, I needed to find a separate location for this, and I thought that this little bump out would be absolutely perfect. And then after I give you a tour, I'm going to show you what it looks like walking into this space from the other two areas. This is how I have it here. I'm going to show you what I did with my mining node and how you can change it in the future for yourself. Over here, I did block my mining node, but what you could very easily do is you could do a little cut in the fencing and just change which plants are here, and then you can get to it no problem. Or if that doesn't suffice, you could push push the camels back a little bit where you can squeeze through and go to the mining node from behind the camels. If it just goes back one square, you can get back there. So if that is something you are concerned about, there is always a very easy solution for a problem like that. Now there we go, it's nice and sunny. So let's go back over to this area over here because you haven't seen this yet. And then we're gonna slowly make our way back around so that you get a different view. I don't wanna spin around too much because I don't wanna make anybody nauseous, but I will give you a quick little turn around over in here so you can see what this looks like. But again, we're gonna walk back this way. All right, and then we're gonna go all the way around here. Trying to go slow. I'm getting better using my controller. Sorry if you can hear my squeaky wheel. I did spray some stuff into the controller so that my controller would be a little more quiet. Let's start in this area here because everybody knows where this is, all right? So this is the entrance from the courtyard, and then we're gonna go up from the courtyard. Look at Mike running. What's up, Mike? All right, this is what it looks like whenever you walk into my plains. That's part of the Glittering Dunes. It's nice, it's lush, it's extremely botanical. I want it to feel bright and I wanted it to feel extremely extravagant, very botanical in the desert. I wanted it to feel as if you were on another distant world far, far away. And I hope that you enjoy this aesthetic of me mixing some of the old world items with the new world items. So a nice little turn around there for you guys. And then we're gonna go back in this direction. I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I wanted it to be nice and bright and super colorful and to feel lively because I found that whenever we first had Eternity Isle, I couldn't put much in the desert and be happy with it. But now with all of this new foliage of the pink plants, I really think that it matches this pathway as well very nicely because we don't have enough purple and we do have a little bit of blue as well in the bushes. I do really try hard to coordinate all of the colors of all of the items that I use in my builds. I'm gonna go nice and slow so you guys can get the idea of what I was going for when I was designing this. And then in this area, whenever I zoom out, you're gonna see it doesn't quite line up, but you can't really tell because I tried to hide it. And again, I do play on the Switch, so I have a very limited item count of 3,000, so I have to be very careful with what I use, and I might have to come back and delete some items out of here because I did use a ton of bushes along this pathway. If you guys are looking for a way to lay out your bushes, I do think that this is quite impactful with using less items. I don't know if I would say that this is Switch friendly. I do think that I use a little bit too many. I mean, you can see here, like this is just 4 items right there, but 4 per, I don't know, it's about 12 squares, I think is a pretty safe number to use, but it really does add up in the end. So we'll see what does survive. And at the end, whenever I do have my valley fully finished with my 3,000 item limit reached, I will show you guys how it managed to look. I try to use big items that take up more space so that, you know, my item limit is a little bit less destroyed whenever I'm doing a design. So that's why I use like Mythopia, tree, and rock combo over here. And then I like to use a lot of fencing as well because that doesn't add to the item limit, as well as a lot of pathing. So over here you can see I use 2 different pieces of pathing because I don't know, something about this pathing just blending into the sandy earth itself. I thought that it looked nice. I don't know what you guys think. Like, do you think I should have used this pathing over here that's bordered with the non-bordered pathing? I do kind of like to mix them up a little bit as long as I have fencing in there and enough foliage to kind of blend it in. But yeah, this is the design that I came up with for this area. I made it to match my Agrippa Palace. I hope that you enjoy it. I think that this is a really nice vignette over here. So if you guys are just looking for little areas to design, you can do little bump outs here. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an aerial image of this entire area for you. And then I'll just go over to the Agrippa Palace really fast as well if you missed that first video, just so you can kind of see how it's connected. If you're looking for just like a layout as well to follow, you can just use this kind of as a blueprint and you can change all of the plants. So let's do that aerial view for you all. All right, so this is a really good landmark to start at the bridge. We're gonna move over here to this area and then I'm gonna try to make it nice and straight above if you are looking for the layout. The bushes don't have pink on them right now. How funny is that? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit further and then everything's gonna get pink. Pink, pink, pink. Come on, get a little pinker. Whoa. Come on, Gameloft, what's going on? This is the area so that you can see along my pathway how I have all of my foliage laid out there. And then I couldn't quite line up this right there with this over in here. So I tried to just kind of blend it by covering the edges to the point where you couldn't really tell that they're not lined up. But I don't know why we can't just have everything magically and perfectly line up. That would be super cool. I would really appreciate that. So I'll move over here like this a little bit. That sun's a bit bright. If the sun being too bright bothers you guys, let me know, and in the future I will just change the time of day. But if it doesn't bother you, obviously, why bother changing the time of day? So you can see how I have the palace with all the different palace walls. I did a couple of different layers over here, so you can see how I got the layers in there. So I popped this one out in front of this piece here and this piece over here, and then I stuck the waterfall in between. And then whenever I was laying this out and I was standing from afar, I thought it would look nice if there was some type of a roofing. That's why I decided to go with the glass dome, which you will see historically in architecture of stone buildings from the past. Historically, you know, they're not going to put a stone roof on it. They're going to put like a thatched roof, which we have seen in some of our Dreamlight Valley house skins. So I decided to go with glass because I don't have a thatched roof, but I am very happy with that. And then this area over here, sorry for going too quickly if it is too fast, but let's zoom into this here. All right, everybody. And then you can see how I laid this out. And what I was saying is back over in this area, if you just move the camel out a little bit and then you can skirt around it and then you can come through here and then work your way over to the mining node, you would have to push this forward, obviously, but then you wouldn't need as much fencing, which would be nice. I don't mind in this area ever, so I just wanted to cover it. It didn't actually matter to me. The pathing over here as well, I think that I use a few less items for every 12. No, it's about the same everywhere because I do want it to match. I put these really pretty Isabelle items in. I wanted the Agrabah walls to blend into the sand a little bit more over here, so I did splurge on my item limit, everybody. I used 4 pieces of beach grass. I'm happy with the way this looks. I much prefer it. I really would have preferred for this fountain to be tucked in, but you know what? It is what it is. Can't be perfect. So this is my build, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed the build. I hope that you really like the aesthetic, and then I also hope that it does give you some inspiration. And even if, you know, pink isn't your thing and you want to change the bushes, go ahead and change the bushes. You can even use castle walls and go with a layout like this. But I did do a quick little touch of magic rug. In the future, I would like to make one with a border. I just, on the Switch, it's kind of annoying and I don't really want to mess around with it. And then I knew it was glitched. Some of my designs got messed up, so I'll get back on that horse. But this is my design. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and have a great day. Bye, everybody.